So who here knows what a fintech is? Good stuff. And yes, I'm trying to make it a little bit more interactional. When I say fintech, just yell out what comes to mind. Monzo? Lots of Monzo customers here. Klarna, thank you. So we've been going back. Fintech has actually been helping us globally for quite a while. If you think of PayPal, PayPal's been around for quite a while. You could almost say it's one of the early fintechs as they help to make financial services more efficient, automated, safer. You can actually go and say, actually, I didn't pay for that. I want my money back. And it's convenient. And that is one of the things I like about the fintech space. It's a way of doing financial services that is convenient, safer, easier, automated, and obviously has a lot of regulation around it. So you feel a little bit more safer because money is usually involved. And in the fintech community, you will find there's a lot of innovation, a lot of disruption, and we've come to actually accept and expect innovation and disruption and convenience. When pandemic happened, we all had to switch how we work. How many people here want to do 5 days a week in the office? Not a single hand. To think that prior to the pandemic happening, the idea that people actually could work remotely for some companies was just impossible. It was not even something that they would even entertain, no matter how much you try to make the case from an HR perspective that it was possible. There was always some hesitation. There was always some reason as to why it's not possible. But we have actually found that remote working in some cases has led to more productivity, has led to more work-life balance, which actually means that you have higher retention. It does mean you have a lot more competition if you can't offer what people are looking for. But it has a lot of positive benefits. That's not to say that there aren't roles that unfortunately you have to be in person for. There are going to be roles like that where you do need to be in person and have to review things. But I'm quite, and I'm sure as you are, quite thrilled that we live in this generation where we have witnessed so much innovation, so much change in the last 20 years. So to put in perspective, I found my first iPhone 3. And my daughter said, "What is this?" my daughter's at university. I have two kids. I have a son and a daughter. My daughter's at uni, and my son is just started college. And so because she asked me that, of course I had to whip out my radio with a cassette player. Right? Let me show you something, And they're like, "What is this?" And so it was actually having to whip out the old cassettes. But it's just to emphasize the importance of technology, the things we take for granted, the fact that everyone here probably has a smartphone. Most of you, if I took away your smartphone, or if you lost it, you would feel like you've lost your life, your connection to everybody and everything, and your work, and your money. The fintech space. We're so used to actually being able to do things so conveniently because of technology. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about, and also because it's going to be leading to the other things I wanted to talk about, is the reason I think it's important to work for companies that have a purpose, ideally a social purpose. When you hear the word social purpose, what one word comes to mind? Anyone?
Charity.
Okay, I'll take that, but okay. Charity, she said. Anyone else? CSR? Can I ask a different question? Why doesn't the word social purpose immediately elicit inclusion? Because if you think about it, for most of us, social purpose is actually about belonging. It's about inclusion. Even when we do the charity work, it's about inclusion. Even when we're trying to do the CSR, it's about inclusion. It's about reaching people that we feel are somehow excluded from something that maybe we have and we take for granted. Now that takes me back to the reason I started working in fintech companies and actually started working specifically for companies where I felt had purpose, and if they had a social purpose that aligned with inclusion, which is my favorite thing, I am more likely to say yes. I work at Could, obviously. It's an app for Africans, and it actually launched started in 2019. And when the pandemic happened, to put things in perspective, this is a company that was in Africa where the simple thing of like turning on your tap is not common. They have to go to the bank. They have to queue up. At a time when the whole government is saying, stay home. Like, okay, how do I pay for food? How do I get water? And it's those little things when you think about it, you start to really understand the impact of the fintech world on a global scale. Most fintechs, at least the ones I've known of, most of them are solving a real problem. Most of them are actually trying to solve a real tangible problem. Some of those problems we take for granted. And the thing about us is we get used to fintech, that when someone else is trying to give us a service that is not to the level that we're used to, like we all have your Monzas now, and let's face it, we all have our little apps, and you can check your Tesco club points on your app. If someone said to you had to go into a Tesco branch to go see what your balance was, would you be bothered? If someone told you had to go to a branch to see what your balance was, what the last 5 transactions on your account were, you would switch. You would literally switch banks through your apps. We've just become so used to the convenience and the efficiency and the innovation and that frictionless transaction that we do every day. We don't even think about it. And that's one of the things I love about the fintech space, and also why I think that purpose is always important.